Jump
I
on
have
them.
to talk about because
Squeeze them.
I have to talk about flowers.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we also noticed this beautiful bouquet here on the set. We would like to thank Westside Florist at Aloha Market Center for the donation of the beautiful centerpiece here on our table. We really appreciate it. It makes our set look prettier. And they also have a website. It's www.westsideflorist.net. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Now you brought another tool, and I think it's going to be really interesting.
Well, this tool comes from the tarot, which is really the Kabbalah.
What's the Kabbalah?
Well, gosh,
I mean, no,
how many hours do you have?
Well, I mean, is it a religious book or?
No, it's ancient Jewish mysticism.
Okay, that's
And
all I need.
Good answer.
Good answer.
Kabbalah means passed from mouth to ear.
Oh, okay.
It was the oral tradition in Judaism and predates Judaism, but it's basically the symbols for all the three great Western religions.
Okay.
And so out of this, probably the most important symbol is that of a cube. It's shown in the number 4 card, the Emperor.
Which we brought along with us.
He's
He's
sits
sitting on a cube.
And there are cubes throughout the cards, but it's most prominent in the Emperor card.
The Judgment has one, but it looks like a Christmas package. Yeah.
It's hidden all over in the cards. Well, I have my coaching clients use this. We use a cube when we're stuck, don't have any options, or have too many options. That can be equally frustrating. I've got so many things I could do, I don't know what to do.
Which is harder to work with? Somebody who has, no options, or somebody who has too many?
I have found that having too many options oftentimes is, I can think of one client who had 2 or 3 degrees and quite different degrees. Could do this, could do that, kind of like this and kind of like that. It's very difficult to choose.
Because they're afraid they'll make a mistake, road not
Well,
taken, is that why?
they're both, he had like 3 or 4 different things he could do. They're all very seductive, and how do you choose?
Ooh, can we use him for the cube?
Well, yes, and I did use, in fact, his assignment was to do a cube, and he didn't do it. And I was a little annoyed in our coaching session. I'm the double Virgo. I assume you'll do your homework. And so he came, and I remember him specifically kind of lounging on the couch, not really engaged in this. And so I said, well, I'm going to do this with you. And so what you do is you look at your situation from 6 different viewpoints. And he came up with 2 or 3 viewpoints of, well, I could do this, I could do that. And after about 3 of them, he sat up and he got really energized and excited. And he got so excited, he left the session early and said, I got to go home and work on this, that he had come up. But what we're trying to do in the cube is to come up with the 7th. I think we have a graphic of the cube. If you think of a cube as almost atmospheric pressure pushing on it from all sides.
There it is, Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see what it looks like on the
Yeah,
inside.
right in the middle is that point that's really potent.
Yes.
Well, the ancients called that the unfolding rose. And the Rosicrucians, you've probably heard of Rosicrucians.
Yes.
Rosicrucian means rosy cross. And they adopted this symbol. And so from the cube, you can get what looks like a Christian cross. It's not. It's an ancient symbol, predates Christianity. But any cube will fold out into this. And the Rosicrucians had a red cross at the cross beams. So the point being that buried inside the cube is the answer. But the cube isn't really the cube. The cube is really your head. We're talking about your head.
Right.
And you have all these different sides to it, and buried way inside is the answer to your situation. I think it's easier to explain with an illustration.
Can you do it in 3 minutes?
Okay. Yeah. A woman came to my class in very upset, an impossible marriage, alcoholic husband, abusive, and had no options. And we were trying to, well, but couldn't you do this? Well, she could see no option. And oftentimes we get so blinded by our situation that we can't see our way out. And so we said, well, let's do a cube. And I said, well, let's start with, you could shoot the jerk. And she says, well, gosh, yeah. And
Were you afraid she might?
No.
Okay.
But what we do then is to write down all the pros and all the cons. What are the good things about shooting the jerk? And what are the bad things? And I remember her saying, I wouldn't have to talk to him anymore. I wouldn't have to listen to him. I wouldn't have to see him again.
He'd be gone.
And then we go to the other side, and I said, well, what's the opposite of that? Well, she said, I could stay just the way I am. Yeah, you could. And what are the good things and the bad things? And I think we did counseling, and I don't remember all 6, but in about 10 minutes, we sat and watched this woman who had no options suddenly come alive. That red rose started to open. And I always think of it as these different ideas that bump up against each other and hook up. And finally she said, wait a minute, I could go home to my mother tonight and never see him again, not have to talk to him again. So these ideas were in her head all the time, but never quite in this configuration. And so she had that unfolding red rose right before our eyes.
And that was great.
Yeah, typically it doesn't happen in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
but
no.
I encourage people to even write on the cube the 6 different, and it has to be 6. When I studied this in my coursework, it was a 9-month coursework, really complicated. And I finally said, wait a minute, you know, life isn't this complicated. What's the simple solution? My company name is Practical Metaphysics, so I need the practical tool for it. And so I came up with the idea of just writing there are 6 different ways to view any situation. And you need to look at those, hoping that the 7th will unfold.
Those are great tools, Don. Now you teach these in a class, don't you? You have a class? Because we're going to put your website, so if you have a pencil, you might want to get that ready
I have
for
an
your
ongoing
website.
salon that I use, a coaching and tarot salon, where we talk about 1 card a night and then integrate that into tools for them to use in their coaching.
Yeah.
And I use these with all my coaching clients. And I use both the tools. I often refer to them when people come for a psychic reading. People think they're coming to a psychic to get the answers. Or to fix their situation. I say, well, sorry, I don't mend relationships. I don't heal illness, but you might want to use a grape cluster particularly to get started on a new vision.
I think you convinced me. I'm going home. I'm making that cluster, and
you may get a second husband. Then.
Well, I'm not even going not for that, but for maybe for something else. We only have about a minute, Don. So I was going to say tarot's another tool that you use, but that's a whole other story. So we'll have to have you back on.
Yeah, that's for another night.
Do you have any question to wrap it up, or I can finish up if you like, for Dawn?
Well, I would say that the cube is for everybody.
Oh yeah.
And I think once you learn how to do it, look at how many people could learn how to do this.
Oh, it's easy.
It can work within a family structure. I get excited about the idea of how a family could come together using each having their own cube.
Or
and
the
information.
cluster. I've had couples use the cluster, having marital problems. You go off to your separate corners. You do it. What would our perfect marriage look like?
Yeah.
And then you come back and overlay them. And it's men especially like this. Men, when the wife comes to the husband and says, "We need to talk," oh God!
I love your tools, and we're gonna have you back because I knew you were gonna be great. You always are, and we could talk forever. But I guess I'm gonna have to close the show now. Thanks so much, Don. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you.
And Badeish for helping me. Yeah. Thanks, folks, for joining us for Create Your Own Reality. And future shows will focus on ideas and tools to assist you in living well, like we just talked about, and creating an environment to manifest your dreams. So if you have any comments or suggestions, or if you'd like to be in our audience, we will eventually have an audience, or if you'd like to be a guest on the show like Don, why don't you email us at createyourownreality@hotmail.com. So thanks again for watching. We hope to see you soon, and Don, we need to have Don back.
We need to have you back.
I'm available.
Okay, we have a couple seconds. What should we talk about? Tarot when you come back? Or?
People can find all these tools on my website.
That's right, which is?
DonClarkson.com.
That's easy. Remember that.